Morning, boys. What's going on?
Yeah, well, it's just one of those. I mean, unfortunately, we've seen this movie before, but goodness gracious, why would you ever want to remake that form of horror movie?
It's a new leading actor.
Well, it's just different cast members, guys. It's a very similar script, and the ending is indeed gruesome, or at least it was yesterday. Bears just totally outclassed by the Detroit Lions. Jared Goff now a shoe-in to be NFC Offensive Player of the Week, which would make the Bears defense 2 for 2 in that category. I'm sure Dak Prescott's probably aware of that this morning as he prepares for Sunday at Soldier Field.
They're coming in hot, no doubt about that, Brad. So if the defense is the biggest problem, and I would agree that it is, there's a long list, but it's at the top. It's all a problem. Thank you, John Fox. But if you are Dennis Allen, where do you start? Does it start up front? Does it start with a secondary? And what's wrong with Kevin Byard?
Well, I think it's everywhere. Yeah, it's a lack of a pass rush. It's the front and the back end not being connected. You see the Lions just eating the Bears up on a lot of those crossers. Those take time, right? And there's the one play where T.J. Edwards is trying to match in zone coverage against Jamison Williams. Well, if you've got a really good defense, you can get away with that on occasion. Because the pass rush is going to get home, because the quarterback isn't going to be able to hold the ball until Williams is, cleared all the way across the field and has a, huge head start on TJ, who's put in a terrible spot there. So the run defense wasn't good. It was like 7-on-7 for Jared Goff most of the game, guys.
Yes.
That's what's crazy. The Bears are out there in full pads, and the Lions are playing 7-on-7.
And the Bears are built for 7-on-7. Unfortunately, they did not win on either side of the line, quite frankly. I was surprised, or I have been surprised, that they're getting no bang for their buck on the offensive line or the defensive line. And maybe, in fairness to the defensive line, maybe Grady Jarrett is injured, but, I mean, it doesn't explain why Montez Sweat is not performing.
Yeah, I mean, Sweat has one play yesterday, and it gets wiped out on offsetting penalties with Tyreek Stevenson getting an illegal contact on the Bears portion of that offsetting situation. With Grady, you hope he's able to get healthy. It's a right knee. That's the knee he had the ACL with a couple years ago, where he missed half the season with the Falcons, and you want to see him healthy because you don't want him to be this year's Keenan Allen addition to the roster. You know what I'm saying? And he's got leadership and he's got some real qualities in terms of intangibles that can help in the locker room. But first, he's got to help on the field, and that defense needs it. And I feel like the Gervon Dexter breakout story was overwritten last year, and it's certainly been overwritten this year. And it
lasted a week.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that we're actually going to see that, and you can't pin this on any one player or any one position group. They're so bad across the board.
So, Brad,
every level bad on defense.
They are. Level. There's not a level that's just really playing at a satisfactory level.
I looked at Brisker Brisker led him in tackles, and I looked at it, and I commented to someone this morning. I said, "Did you even notice him?"
I can't remember one he made.
No.
So, Brad, if you are the accountability coach and Ben Johnson came in talking a tough game, guys are going to be held accountable. You're 0-2, and you are a bad 0-2. Is there any one area, is there any one player that will be used as an example? Like, okay, this isn't good enough. We're going to replace you. Because I can think of some candidates.
Are you talking about cutting a guy? Or are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about replacing a guy, losing your starting position. Darnell Wright, what are you doing? You're in year 3. You're supposed to prove that you are a top 10 draft pick. You are an elite Pro Bowl caliber offensive tackle. You stunk yesterday.
Yeah, he had a tough game. Like there's just too many penalties on the offensive line as a whole. They've got 6 false starts through 2 weeks, as bad as the offensive line was a year ago, when I believe they tied for. I gave the stat to you guys a couple weeks ago, second or third in the league in most false starts. They had 5 through the first 2 games in 2024. They're at 6 false starts now. He has the chop block, the false start. Dahlman has a hold yesterday. Braxton Jones gets a face mask penalty. So I think 8 of their 4 penalties went on the offensive line. I don't know that you take him. Like, they played Theo Bennett at 2 series at the end when Tyson Bagent came in at quarterback. That's a total of 11 snaps. Do they look there? You know, one thing I would consider for next week certainly is, how about activate Shamar Turner, the second-round pick at defensive tackle, and give him a little bit of a run? I mean, Grady clearly wasn't at full strength yesterday. I'm sure Grady wants to be out there, but you want to develop your young talent. I wasn't surprised that Ozzie Trapillo was inactive yesterday. Guys, it was a bigger surprise he was active in week 1, because teams rarely carry 9 offensive linemen on the game day roster, which is what the Bears did against Minnesota. They got back to 8 dressed in uniform yesterday.
Is there something we don't know going on with Cairo Santos? I mean, he, obviously, I don't think he was being ironical when he kicked the ball out of bounds to open the game.
I think they wanted to be aggressive to start the game there and try to pin the returner in the corner, and he didn't hit the ball well. And he's got to be better at that. He knows that, and frankly, they can't have it. But it's something all these kickers are adjusting a little bit to. You saw, I think, late in the game, Detroit. When it's just a total blowout, just get the ball downfield near the goal line, ends up short of the landing zone for a penalty. So all the kickers are adjusting a little bit, and we'll see what it looks like as the season goes on. But Cairo can't have mistakes each week continue to crop up.
Right.
Brad, number 5 on your list of 10 thoughts on ChicagoTribune.com this morning is something I agree with. Caleb Williams was better than he was in week 1. Now, that's a relative term, but I do think that he was improved. I don't think he was at the top of the list of problems, but people will come at him this week and say, you know what, he could make everything better. Where are you with Caleb Williams in the game that he played?
He was improved over week 1. Like, week 1, in my opinion, looked like last season. I thought he was more comfortable in the pocket. I didn't think he rushed as many throws. Looked like his footwork was better. They tried to play with tempo and use that to their advantage there in the first half. And when things were kind of clicking, that's when they had some success offensively, and they were able to move the ball. Now, he's nowhere near being able to play in a video game like setting, which we had yesterday at Ford Field. Like, they're not good enough to go out and put up those kind of points. But he was better. If you wanted to see a step in the right direction, he took you there. He's still got a long ways to go. Like, they picked up where they left off last year. They're not looking at the tight end at all, guys. Like, that was a clear issue with that offense a year ago. They used the 10th pick in the draft on Colston Loveland, and those guys are total non-factors in the passing game, and I counted close to 30 snaps, I believe, yesterday, where they've got 2 tight ends in the personnel grouping on the field.
I'll just read you a question one of our texters has. Who's going to get fired first? Is it Dennis Allen or Richard Hightower? Listen, stick together. I get it.
Didn't forget how to. Yeah, Dennis Allen didn't forget how to coach football, and the players should be able to pick things up on that side of the cover 3 under Dennis is going to be pretty damn similar to cover 3 under Eberflus or whoever else. Like, I had a former coach texting me as I was going through security at the airport this morning, and he said likes Dennis Allen a lot as a coach, thinks he's really good. He said, "No, I wouldn't confuse him for Vic Fangio, but this guy's one of the better ones in the league." And so Dennis wasn't thrilled with a lot of questions this past Thursday about the Monday night game. I hope he's going to be able to brace himself, or someone will be able to prepare him for what ought to be an onslaught of questions this coming Thursday.
Somebody tell him how it works. Yeah, he's a Hallis Hall. They're about 3 days behind everything. Yeah. So tell him that
3 years
to expect. Yeah, 3 days, 3 months, 3 years. Brad, did you ever get to the bottom of that whole 3rd and 4th down quarterback sneak thing? I think that was just egregious.
Well, I'll tell you what, they got to be better there. When you talk about the assets they put into the interior of that offensive line with trading away a couple later draft picks and then paying all 3 of them, Dahlman in free agency, redoing the contracts of Tooney and Jonah Jackson,
and paying the play caller.
The only thing,
that's right.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Where's the imagination
the
there?
Like Caleb should be really good at that, right? He's 230 pounds. He's strong, but how many times from under center has he been asked to sneak?
5th of never.
In his life. I don't know. They got to get better at that. Ben Johnson did a pretty good job, I think, of being critical of himself first last week. I'm not going to imagine what he's going to say today or later on this week, but you guess maybe he wants one of those calls back for sure.
I am, Brad. I mean, I'm in a panic mode in my own way, but I would like them to just make some drastic change. I just don't see. I don't want to hear anyone selling losing to me again at Hallis Hall. I don't want to hear it, and I don't know what they can do. I don't know what kind of backups they have anywhere. I saw a lot of guys drafted and left inactive. I get
Mully
it.
wants position changes.
I just wonder what they can do. Is there anything they can do? Move people around, try to get better. There are guys that don't belong on the field, frankly.
Yeah, I don't think week 3 is quite
right.
Panic
Enough
time.
Yep.
For your you got a brand new regime. But like I mentioned earlier, getting Shamar Turner in uniform, getting him some action. Like, you got to see what some of these young guys that should be an integral part of your future. What can they do? What can they add? And they've got to be better across the board because, like last year, go back and look at last year. This might surprise you. And it was a total disaster, right? Just complete disaster across the board. But in the time that Flus was the head coach, they gave up 29 in a terrible game at Arizona, and they gave up 30 up at Minnesota, and I think that was right before the Thanksgiving Day debacle here in Detroit.
Yeah.
Other than that defense last year didn't give up, when Flus was in charge, didn't give up over 23 points a game. So they were playing defense with most of the same players. Remember, that's something we talked about in the offseason. We're expecting this to be a great defense with most of the same guys back. They were playing the kind of defense that kept them in games. The maddening thing was the offense was a total, just unmitigated disaster, and they had in-game decisions that you scratch your head about, and then we're losing in an unacceptable fashion a bunch of lower scoring and one-score games. They remember the Thanksgiving Day game where Flus tucked the timeout into his pocket and flew home with it.
Oh, boy.
Detroit scored 23 points in that game.
Fine memories, Brad.